There is a category of spending that is more financially dangerous than impulse buying. Impulse buying feels irresponsible in the moment. The guilt arrives immediately or shortly after. The recognition that the purchase was unnecessary creates at least some corrective pressure, a mental note, a return, a resolution to be more careful next time. Impulse spending is visible to the person doing it, which means it can be addressed. The purchases on this list are different. They feel responsible. They feel like the good decisions. They feel like the financially mature, forward-thinking choices that distinguish someone who is careful with money from someone who isn't. They come with justifications that hold up under casual scrutiny. They generate approval from other people when mentioned, and they quietly set back the financial position of the person who makes them, sometimes by thousands of dollars, without ever producing the moment of obvious financial irresponsibility that might trigger reevaluation. The smart purchase is more expensive than the impulse buy in the long run because it never gets questioned. It got justified once, at the point of purchase, and that justification has been carrying it ever since. Nobody audits the decision that felt correct at the time. Nobody runs the full math on the investment that was supposed to pay off. Nobody calculates the total cost of the strategy that was clearly the sensible approach. This video does that math. 12 purchases that feel like smart financial decisions examined honestly, with the complete numbers that reveal why the feeling and the reality diverge so consistently. Number 1. The bulk purchase that expires, spoils, or never gets used. Buying in bulk feels like one of the most obviously correct financial strategies available. The unit price is lower, the cost per ounce, per sheet, per item is mathematically superior. The warehouse membership is paying for itself in savings. The responsible, forward-thinking consumer buys in quantity. The math only works if the bulk quantity actually gets used before it expires, spoils, degrades, or becomes unnecessary. And for a significant portion of bulk purchases, that condition is not met. According to USDA research, the average American household wastes approximately 30 to 40% of the food it purchases. Bulk buying accelerates this waste for perishable categories, the oversized container of mixed greens that wilts before the household can consume it, the bulk berries that mold on day 4, the enormous quantity of bread that goes stale before it can be eaten. Buying twice as much at 20% lower unit cost and throwing away 40% of it produces a net cost higher than buying a smaller quantity at full price. Non-perishable bulk purchases carry a different failure mode. The item becomes unnecessary before the quantity is depleted. The bulk supply of a specific cleaning product purchased before a household move sits in boxes and gets discarded. The industrial quantity of a vitamin supplement purchased during a health enthusiasm phase sits in a cabinet as the phase passes. The Costco-sized supply of a snack food purchased enthusiastically gets eaten rapidly and enthusiastically, which was also not the plan. The Warehouse Club membership averages $65 annually for basic membership at major retailers. For households that genuinely purchase high-volume, non-perishable items consistently, the membership generates real savings. For households that visit occasionally and use the warehouse environment as a permission structure for large purchases of items they don't actually need in large quantities, the membership costs more than it saves. The smart purchase feeling comes from the unit price math, which is real. The financial reality depends on the utilization rate, which is frequently not what the unit price calculation assumed. Number 2, the professional certification or degree that didn't move the needle. Investing in education feels unambiguously correct. Knowledge is valuable. Credentials open doors. The decision to spend money on professional development is the kind of financially mature choice that distinguishes people who take their careers seriously from people who don't. It is genuinely difficult to argue against learning. It is considerably easier to argue against specific educational investments that do not produce returns proportionate to their cost. The graduate degree is the most significant example. The average cost of a master's degree from a private university is approximately $66,000, according to the National Center for Education Statistics. The salary premium associated with a master's degree over a bachelor's degree averages approximately $12,000 annually across all fields, according to Bureau of Labor Statistics data. The simple payback period on that calculation, $66,000 divided by $12,000, is 5.5 years. This appears reasonable until the full cost is calculated. The $66,000 in tuition does not account for interest on loans used to fund it, which typically adds $15,000 to $25,000 to the total cost. It does not account for the 2 years of income foregone while attending full-time, which, for someone earning $55,000 annually, represents $110,000 in opportunity cost. And it does not account for the investment returns on the $66,000 that could have been invested instead. At 8% annual returns, $66,000 compounds to approximately $143,000 over 10 years. For degrees in fields where the salary premium is high and consistent, medicine, law at top firms, engineering specializations with clear market demand, the math justifies the investment. For degrees in fields where the premium is modest, inconsistent, or dependent on factors the degree alone doesn't guarantee, the math frequently does not. The professional certification version of this failure is smaller in scale but follows the same pattern. A $2,000 certification that was supposed to open a specific career door that never opened. A $500 online course bundle purchased during a motivation surge and never completed. A professional membership with continuing education requirements that generated credentials without generating opportunities. The investment in human capital felt smart at the point of purchase and delivered returns that never matched the expectation. The honest evaluation requires running the complete numbers, total cost, including opportunity cost and foregone investment returns, against the realistic, evidence-based salary premium the credential actually produces in the specific market the buyer will compete in. The feeling that education is always a good investment does not survive contact with the full calculation in all cases. Number 3. The energy-efficient appliance upgrade that didn't break even. Upgrading to energy-efficient appliances feels like the financially and environmentally responsible choice. The new refrigerator uses 30% less electricity. The new washing machine uses significantly less water. The smart thermostat optimizes heating and cooling automatically. These upgrades pay for themselves in energy savings. The decision is obviously correct. The payback calculation that makes this decision feel smart frequently uses optimistic assumptions about energy savings and ignores the total cost of the upgrade decision. A new energy-efficient refrigerator costs $800 to $1,500. The annual energy savings compared to a 10-year-old but fully functional model averages $30 to $50, according to Energy Star data. At $40 in annual savings, the payback period on a $1,000 refrigerator is 25 years. The average refrigerator lifespan is approximately 14 years. The energy-efficient replacement will need its own replacement before the original investment has broken even in energy savings. The calculation improves when the existing appliance is genuinely inefficient, a 20-year-old model consuming significantly more energy than modern equivalents, or when it has failed and replacement is necessary regardless. Replacing a broken appliance with an energy-efficient model is genuinely smart. Replacing a functioning appliance with a more efficient one specifically for the energy savings requires an honest payback calculation that often produces uncomfortable results. The smart thermostat version follows the same logic. A Nest or Ecobee thermostat costs $150 to $250 installed. The claimed annual energy savings average $130 to $145, according to manufacturer data, making the payback period approximately 1 to 2 years. This calculation appears to hold up better than the appliance example, but it assumes consistent use of the optimization features, significant heating and cooling costs in the specific home, and behavioral patterns compatible with the device's learning algorithms. For households in mild climates with already moderate energy bills, the actual savings frequently fall below the claimed figures. The principle applies broadly. Energy efficiency upgrades are genuinely smart when an honest, conservative payback calculation shows break-even within the expected useful life of the upgraded item, based on the actual energy costs of the specific household, rather than manufacturer claims. Number 4. The gym membership purchased as a future self-investment. The gym membership is one of the most widely purchased and most widely underutilized financial commitments in American consumer behavior. It is also one of the most confidently justified at the point of purchase. The purchase is not for the present self, who is not currently going to the gym. It is for the future self, who will go to the gym, the version that emerges when motivation is high, when the schedule is clearer, when the initial activation energy has been overcome. The membership is an investment in that future self. Canceling it would be a betrayal of the aspiration it represents. This logic is psychologically compelling and financially expensive. The gym membership business model is engineered around exactly this psychology. Planet Fitness, the largest gym chain in the United States, has publicly acknowledged in investor materials that their facilities cannot physically accommodate all their members simultaneously. The business depends on the gap between memberships sold and memberships actively used. A gym that had to serve every member who paid would need to be much larger and charge much more. An average gym membership costs $50 monthly. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Health Economics found that the average gym member attends 4.3 times per month, slightly more than once a week. The effective cost per visit is $11.63. For the significant cohort of members who join in January, attend for 6 weeks, and then maintain the membership through guilt and hope until the annual contract expires, the cost per actual visit reaches $25 to $50. The financial cost of the unused gym membership is quantifiable. The psychological cost is subtler. The membership creates a false sense of fitness engagement that can reduce motivation to find lower-cost alternatives. Someone paying $50 monthly for a gym they don't attend is less likely to take up running, bodyweight training, or other free fitness activities because the membership represents an open loop, a commitment not yet fulfilled, rather than a closed fitness chapter inviting a new approach. The smart purchase feeling comes from the genuine value a consistently used gym membership provides. The financial reality depends entirely on the usage rate that actually materializes, not the usage rate imagined at the point of purchase. Number 5. The Warehouse Club membership for light users. The Warehouse Club is among the most effectively marketed value propositions in retail. The math is presented clearly and compellingly. Lower unit prices on items you already buy, premium products at accessible prices, the satisfaction of smart bulk purchasing behavior. The membership pays for itself. The evidence is right there on every receipt. For households with consistent high-volume purchasing needs, large families, households with clear storage capacity for bulk non-perishables, people who have audited their purchasing patterns and confirmed that the categories available at warehouse prices align with their genuine ongoing needs, the membership delivers real value. For the substantial population of light users who maintain memberships because the individual trip savings feel compelling despite infrequent visits, the math is considerably less favorable. A Costco membership costs $65 annually for basic membership. To break even on that cost, a member needs to generate $65 in savings above what they would have spent at standard retail prices. For a household making 4 trips annually and spending $300 per trip, generating $16.25 in savings per trip breaks even on the membership cost, a savings rate of approximately 5.4% on the purchased items. The problem for light users is not the math on individual trips. It is the purchasing behavior the warehouse environment induces. Warehouse clubs are engineered to encourage large purchases. The scale of the items, the treasure hunt atmosphere created by rotating inventory, the sample stations that increase time in store and purchasing mood, the oversized carts that make purchases look smaller, all of these environmental factors consistently produce larger transactions than the member planned. A household that spends $150 more per warehouse trip than they would have spent on the same needs at standard retail prices, not because the unit prices are higher, but because the environment induced additional purchases, is losing money on the membership despite the favorable unit price math on individual items. Number 6. The whole life insurance policy sold as an investment. Whole life insurance is sold as a sophisticated financial product that combines the protection of life insurance with the wealth-building potential of an investment account. The pitch is compelling: permanent coverage that doesn't expire, a cash value component that grows tax-deferred, the ability to borrow against the policy, a financial product that protects your family and builds your wealth simultaneously. The reality of whole life as an investment is considerably less compelling than the sales presentation suggests, and it is worth examining in detail because the policies are expensive, the commitments are long-term, and the surrender penalties for early exit are significant. The primary problem with whole life as an investment is cost. Whole life insurance charges premiums significantly higher than term life insurance for equivalent death benefit coverage. A 35-year-old non-smoker male can obtain a $500,000 20-year term life policy for approximately $28 monthly. An equivalent death benefit whole life policy costs approximately $400 to $500 monthly for the same individual. The difference? $370 to $470 monthly is the amount going toward the investment component of the policy after the insurance cost is covered. The investment return on the cash value component of whole life policies averages 1 to 3.5% annually in the early years, improving modestly over time as the policy matures. A stock market index fund has returned approximately 10% annually over the past 30 years. The buy term and invest the difference calculation is one of the most durable findings in personal finance. Someone who purchases a $28 monthly term policy and invests the $370 monthly difference at 8% annual returns accumulates approximately $1.1 million over 30 years. The whole life policy's cash value over the same period reaches approximately $180,000 to $250,000, depending on the specific policy. The gap between the two strategies is $850,000 to $920,000 over 30 years for the same monthly outlay, the same death benefit, and dramatically different wealth outcomes. The whole life policy feels smart because the advisor who sold it is typically a credentialed professional, the product is from a reputable institution, and the combination of protection and investment sounds sophisticated. The math reveals it as one of the most expensive ways to invest available to retail consumers. Number 7. The home renovation that didn't add value. Home renovation is one of the most confidently justified categories of large spending in middle-class financial life. The home is an asset. Improving the asset increases its value. The money spent on renovation is not gone, it is invested in the property. The kitchen remodel, the bathroom upgrade, the finished basement, the master suite addition, these are investments, not expenses. The data on renovation return on investment is more complicated than this framing suggests, and for many popular renovation categories, the return is significantly less than the cost. Remodeling Magazine's 2024 Cost versus Value report, the most comprehensive annual analysis of renovation ROI in the United States, found that the average mid-range kitchen remodel costs $79,982 and recoups approximately 49.5% of that cost at resale, $49,391. The homeowner spent $79,982 and received $49,391 in increased value. The renovation cost $40,391 net, nearly $40,000 spent to improve daily kitchen use, none of which was recovered at sale. The bathroom addition, adding a full bathroom to a home that doesn't have one where one is needed, recoups approximately 35.8% of cost. A master suite addition recoups approximately 41.2%. A major bathroom remodel recoups approximately 36.7%. The renovations with the best ROI in the same report are unglamorous. Garage door replacement at 193.9% return, manufactured stone veneer on exterior at 153.2%, entry door replacement at 188.1%. The improvements that feel the most significant, full kitchen remodels, bathroom additions, master suite expansions, consistently return less than half their cost in resale value. The renovation that makes financial sense is the renovation that addresses a genuine functional deficiency in a home that will be sold in the near term, in a market where buyers have consistently demonstrated willingness to pay a premium for the specific improvement. Renovating for personal enjoyment is a legitimate choice, but it is a consumption decision, not an investment decision, and should be evaluated against other uses of the same capital, rather than confidently classified as a wealth-building activity. Number 8. Extended warranties and protection plans. The extended warranty is presented at the checkout counter as responsible ownership, the mature decision to protect a significant purchase from the financial risk of unexpected failure. For just a small additional monthly cost, you're covered, peace of mind included. The profit margins on extended warranties run 50 to 80% according to Consumer Reports research. This is not because warranty providers are unusually greedy. It is because the math of failure rates and claim rates makes these products extremely profitable at the prices charged. The providers have calculated the probabilities precisely. They priced the product to generate substantial profit on average across all purchasers. That profit comes from the purchasers. The statistical reality of product failure timing further undermines the warranty value proposition. Most electronic and appliance failures occur either immediately after purchase, covered by the manufacturer's warranty, or after the extended warranty has expired. The window of product life that the extended warranty actually covers is statistically the most reliable period of the product's existence. The self-insurance alternative produces better outcomes for most consumers. A dedicated appliance and electronics fund, $500 monthly set aside in a high-yield savings account, accumulates $600 annually. After 5 years, that fund contains $3,000 plus interest before any claims are made. When an appliance fails, the fund covers the repair or replacement without requiring an insurance product that delivered margin to a warranty company for years in exchange for coverage that was probably never needed. The extended warranty on a $1,200 television costs $200 to $300. The probability of a claim being filed and paid during the warranty period is low enough that the expected value of the warranty is negative for the purchaser in the aggregate. The smart purchase feeling comes from the risk reduction framing. The financial reality is a negative expected value product purchased at the moment of maximum psychological vulnerability, the checkout counter, after committing to a significant purchase when the desire to protect the decision is highest. Number 9. The investment property purchased without full cost analysis. Real estate investment has built genuine wealth for enormous numbers of people and is a legitimate path to financial independence when approached with honest analysis. It is also one of the most aggressively oversimplified investment categories in popular personal finance content, and investment properties purchased without complete cost analysis consistently underperform the confident projections that motivated the purchase. The oversimplification operates on the income side of the equation. The property rents for $2,000 monthly. The mortgage is $1,400. The cash flow is $600 monthly, $7,200 annually. This is a smart investment. The complete cost analysis looks different. Property taxes average $300 monthly on a $300,000 property in most markets. Insurance averages $150 monthly for landlord coverage. Maintenance and repairs average 1% of property value annually, $3,000 per year, $250 monthly, in a well-maintained property, more in an aging one. Vacancy allowance, the realistic expectation that the property will not be occupied 100% of the time, reduces effective annual rent by 5% to 8% on average. Property management, if the owner doesn't self-manage, costs 8% to 12% of collected rent. The $600 monthly cash flow calculation that motivated the purchase becomes a $600 monthly income minus $300 in taxes, minus $150 in insurance, minus $250 in maintenance reserves, minus $133 in vacancy allowance at 6.5%, minus $200 in property management at 10%, a net cash flow of negative $4,333 monthly. The investment that was supposed to generate $7,200 annually is generating negative $5,196 annually when all costs are honestly included. This calculation does not account for the opportunity cost of the down payment, typically $60,000 to $75,000, which at 8% annual investment returns would generate $4,800 to $6,000 in passive index fund investment without any of the management burden, liquidity constraints, or concentration risk of real estate ownership. Real estate investment can absolutely generate the returns that motivate it. The calculation requires honest inputs on all cost categories, not optimistic assumptions on income and ignored expenses, applied to the specific property in the specific market before the purchase is made. Number 10. The side hustle startup with no validated market. Starting a side business feels like exactly the right financial move. Multiple income streams, financial independence, entrepreneurial initiative. The decision to invest in building something additional is the kind of forward-thinking financial behavior that separates wealth builders from passive consumers. The financial reality of most side hustle startups is less inspiring than the narrative around them. The Small Business Administration reports that approximately 20% of small businesses fail in the first year, 45% fail within 5 years, 65% within 10 years. The businesses that survive are disproportionately those that validated market demand before investing significant capital, that found customers before building inventory, that sold services before renting office space, that confirmed that someone would pay for the product before manufacturing it. The side hustle startup that fails the fastest is the one that spends first and validates second. The website design, the logo, the business cards, the inventory purchase, the equipment acquisition, these investments feel like building the business. They are building the cost structure of a business whose revenue potential has not yet been confirmed. Someone who invests $5,000 in startup costs for a side business that generates $800 in revenue before stalling has not had an entrepreneurial experience. They have made a $4,200 net loss that was framed as a learning investment. The framing is not entirely wrong. The experience has genuine learning value, but the financial cost should be recognized as a cost rather than rationalized as inevitably necessary. The validation-first approach costs almost nothing. Offering a service before building a website, selling a product before manufacturing inventory, confirming that customers will pay before acquiring the capacity to serve them at scale. The side hustle that starts with revenue confirmation before capital investment is a categorically different financial proposition than the one that starts with capital investment before revenue confirmation. Number 11. Upgrading to a larger home too early. The move to a larger home is one of the most confidently justified large financial decisions in middle-class life. The family is growing. The current space is insufficient. The home is an appreciating asset. The upgrade is both practically necessary and financially sensible, building equity in a larger property rather than a smaller one. The financial reality of upsizing too early or too aggressively carries costs that the appreciating asset framing reliably obscures. Transaction costs alone, real estate commissions on the sale of the existing home, closing costs on the new purchase, average 8 to 10% of the transaction value. On a $350,000 home sale and a $500,000 new purchase, transaction costs reach $28,000 to $35,000. These costs are incurred every time a household moves up. They must be recovered in appreciation before the move generates any net financial gain. The carrying cost increase of a larger home compounds the transaction cost problem. A $500,000 home versus a $350,000 home costs approximately $800 to $1,200 more monthly to own. Higher mortgage payment, higher property taxes, higher insurance, higher utilities, higher maintenance costs. Over 5 years, that cost differential reaches $48,000 to $72,000 before accounting for the $28,000 to $35,000 in transaction costs paid to make the move. The home needs to appreciate by $76,000 to $107,000 just to cover the transaction and carrying cost premium before generating any net financial benefit from the upgrade. In markets with modest appreciation rates, this break-even period extends to a decade or more. The practical need for more space is real for growing families. The financial case for upsizing as early as possible into the largest home qualifying income allows, a behavior strongly encouraged by the real estate industry, whose commissions scale with transaction size, is considerably weaker than the confident framing around it suggests. Number 12. Paying for convenience services that solve problems you could restructure away. The meal kit subscription, the grocery delivery service, the personal stylist box, the professional organization service. the task completion apps that handle errands, the cleaning service, the lawn care company, the car wash membership. Each of these services solves a genuine problem, something that consumes time or creates friction through payment. Paying for convenience is not inherently wrong. Time has genuine value. For households where income per hour is high enough that the cost of a service is clearly less than the value it frees, the economic case for convenience spending is real. The financial problem is the proportion of convenience spending in middle-class budgets, and the failure to distinguish between convenience services that solve genuine time constraints and convenience services that solve problems created by lifestyle choices that could be restructured. A household that orders meal kits at $180 monthly because neither partner has any cooking knowledge and both work 60-hour weeks has a genuine use case. The service solves a real constraint. A household ordering meal kits at $180 monthly because cooking requires planning that never happens is paying to solve a planning problem with a subscription instead of a behavioral change. The distinction matters because the subscription solution costs $2,160 annually and continues indefinitely, while the behavioral solution costs an hour of planning initially and then nothing. The convenience service feels like a smart investment in household efficiency. The honest evaluation frequently reveals it as an expensive, permanent solution to a temporary organizational problem that better habits would eliminate at zero cost. The aggregate convenience service budget for middle-class households, meal delivery, grocery delivery, cleaning services, lawn care, car wash memberships, task apps, averages $400 to $8,400 monthly according to household spending data. That is $4,800 to $8,400 annually on services whose genuine necessity, evaluated honestly against the behavioral alternatives, ranges from unambiguous to questionable. The 12 purchases on this list share a characteristic that makes them more financially dangerous than obvious overspending. Every one of them was justified. The bulk purchase saved money on unit price. The degree invested in earning potential. The energy upgrade reduced consumption. The gym membership invested in health. The warehouse club provided access to value. The whole life policy protected the family and built wealth. The renovation improved the asset. The warranty protected the purchase. The investment property generated income. The side hustle built financial independence. The larger home built equity. The convenience services optimized time. Every justification contains a partial truth. Every one of them also contains an assumption about utilization rates, market returns, renovation ROI, product failure rates, real estate costs, business survival rates, or time constraints that frequently does not survive contact with the full calculation. The smart purchase feeling is not evidence that the purchase was smart. It is evidence that the justification was compelling at the point of decision. The full calculation is what determines whether the compelling justification described a genuine financial benefit or a financial loss dressed in the language of responsible decision-making. Run the full calculation on everything, every time. The numbers are not judgments, they are information. And information applied honestly to the decisions that feel most certain is where the most significant financial improvements almost always hide. If you're still watching, seriously, thank you. It means more than you know. Before you head out, hit that subscribe button. And if this video helped even a little, don't forget to leave a like. See you in the next one. Love you guys.